Salakaya Sakshur Militan Yena Tasma Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuse Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So these 3 days we are observing the sannyas-lila of Sriman Mahaprabhu, and Srila Kumar says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave us the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that we will be engaged in all our activities, whatever we do, eating, sleeping, working, we always with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, the great gift to always be connected with the Lord. So we're reading from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, and a bit in the paragraph we continue, we started yesterday. Much later that night, at about 3 o'clock in the morning, Nimai went away. He left Vishnupriya Devi asleep in bed. His mother Sachi Devi, sensing what was to come, was staying awake all night guarding the door. Nimai bowed down to her and went away, and like a stone figure, Mother Sachi Devi sat there by the gate as Nimai left. She could not say anything, but was struck dumb. A little after 3 o'clock in the morning, Nimai swam across the Ganges and in his wet cloth went straight to Katwa, a distance of 25 miles. He reached there by 9 or 10 o'clock. There he approached Keshava Bharati to take sannyas. Mother Sachi's sadness. In the early morning, the devotees came to see Nimai and found Sachi Devi like a statue sitting at the door. The door was open, everything was empty. "What's the matter, Sachi Devi?" they asked. She told them, "Oh, I was waiting for you devotees. You take possession of the house. I shall go somewhere else. I cannot enter this house anymore. You are his devotees. You are the true heirs. Take possession." They began to throng around her and console her. "You will go? What about the young wife he left? The girl is only 14 years old. Who will protect her? You cannot shun the responsibility given to you. It is on your shoulders." In this way they came and consoled her and tried to give her some hope. Suddenly, the devotees heard that Nimai Pandit, Sri Gauranga, had left Navadvip. They learned that he had gone to Katwa, to Keshava Bharati's ashram, to take sannyas, bidding goodbye to the people of Navadvip forever. A dark shadow came down. Many began to weep and cry for him. Many of them ran towards Katwa. Nimai Pandit was an unprecedented scholar with beautiful features, tall, fair, and benevolent. He had already made the people mad with the holy name of Krishna. He had realized the 2 great sinners. He had released the 2 great sinners, Jagai and Madai, from their nasty life. He had checked the Muslim ruler, the Qazi, who had broken the mridanga or drum. As a famous Pandit, he had defeated many scholars who came to conquer Navadvip, which was very much renowned for its high culture of learning, especially of logic. At that time in Navadvip, logic, Nyaja, worship of material energy, Tantra, and official Hinduism, Smriti, were in high culture. Navadvip was highly renowned for scholarship. If Pandits could not defeat the scholars of Navadvip, they could not become famous. From far away in Kashmir, Keshava Kashmiri had to come to Navadvip to get a certificate that he was a Pandit, and he was defeated by Nimai Pandit. Keshava Kashmiri was such a big Pandit that it was rumored he was the favorite child of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. No one could face him, still he was defeated by Nimai Pandit. Goodbye forever. But Nimai Pandit left Navadvip forever and took sannyas because the people of Navadvip could not appreciate him. He reached Katwa, where just on the banks of the Ganges there was a sannyasi, Keshava Bharati. Nimai went to him and asked him for sannyas. Keshava Bharati suddenly found that his ashram was full of luster. At first it seemed as if the sun was rising before him. Then he saw that it was a bright person approaching. He rose from his seat and with strained eyes approached in wonder. What is this? He thought. Then he realized that the great devotee scholar Nimai Pandit had come. He appeared before him saying, I want to take sannyas from you. But Keshava Bharati could not accept Nimai's offer. I am charmed by your beauty and personality, he said. But you are so young, only 24 years old. What about your mother, your wife, and your guardians? Without consulting with them, I cannot venture to give you the robe of renunciation. In the meantime, as it was Makara Sankranti, a famous holiday, many people had come to bathe in the holy water of the Ganges. They gathered there, and the rumor spread like fire. Nimai Pandit of Navadvip has come to take sannyas. Many men flocked there until a huge crowd gathered. Voices raised in protest. They all opposed Mahaprabhu's sannyas. Some of them raised their voices in protest. You Keshava Bharati, we won't allow you to give sannyas to such a young man. He has a family, his mother and wife. We won't allow it. If you give sannyas to this charming young beautiful boy, we will break down your ashram immediately. It cannot be. But Nimai Pandit kept pressing for sannyas. At last Keshava Bharati asked him, So you are that Nimai Pandit about whom we have heard so much? Many big scholars came to conquer Navadvip, the famous seat of learning, and you have defeated them all. Are you that Nimai Pandit? Yes, said Nimai. Keshava Bharati told him, I can give you sannyas, but you must take the permission of your mother. Otherwise I won't, I cannot do it. Nimai suddenly began running towards Navadvip to ask permission, but Keshava Bharati thought, he has such a commanding personality, he can do anything. Nimai was called back. Keshava Bharati told him, with your most extraordinary personality, you can do anything. You will go there, charm your guardians, get permission and return. Nothing is impossible for you. The ordinary public was very much enraged, saying to Keshava Bharati, we cannot allow you, Swamiji, to give sannyas to such a young boy. It is impossible. If you do, then we shall smash your ashram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began performing kirtan, chanting Hare Krishna and dancing madly. And the angry mob grew, sometimes creating a disturbance. In this way the whole day passed with no decision. The night passed in Sankirtan, and the next day Nimai's will prevailed, although there was still some opposition. Tears from the eyes of millions. Nityananda Prabhu, Nimai's maternal uncle, Chandrasekhara, Mukunda Datta and Jagadananda Pandit gradually arrived there. And that afternoon the sannyas function began. Chandrasekhara Acharya was asked to perform the ceremony on behalf of Nimai Pandit, who began to chant and dance and charm the audience. While showers of tears fell from the eyes of millions, he delighted in having his beautiful hair shaved away. Millions of voices sang the glories of Krishna as Sri Krishna Chaitanya accepted the staff of renunciation. From that time on, wherever he went, whoever saw him in the dress of a sannyasi cried in grief, I sing the glories of that beautiful golden Lord, the giver of divine love. How can I remove such beautiful hair? The scene was at Katwa. Almost 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. He was young and beautiful, with a tall figure. He was only 24 and had beautiful curling hair. A barber was asked to shave him and approached him, but then withdrew. The barber could not venture to touch Nimai's body. He began to cry, "How can I remove such beautiful hair from such a beautiful head?" And so many others were also crying aloud, "What a horrible thing is being done here! Who is the creator of this sannyas? Who is so hard-hearted that he created the sannyas ashram, where one must give up all that is near and dear and go from door to door begging, leaving his own friends and relatives crying helplessly? What is this creation of the Supreme? Is it logical? Is it a happy thing? It is most cruel." Nimai Pandit was smiling. After the barber was ordered repeatedly, somehow he was forced to shave Nimai's head. At first, he could not venture to touch his hair, saying, "I cannot touch him." But at last, he had to do the service of shaving the beautiful curling hair, of the beautiful face, of the 24-year-old genius boy. He began with his shears. Some people could not stand the scene, some even became mad. In the midst of the weeping, wailing and crying of the threatening mob, it was done. Nimai Pandit was senseless. After being only half shaved, he stood up and began chanting in kirtan and dancing in ecstatic joy. After he was shaved, the barber promised, "I will never again shave anyone with this hand. I would rather live by begging. This is my last service as a barber." After this, that barber took up the occupation of a sweet maker. The sannyas ceremony. Ultimately, Nimai's appeals pacified the mob, and a little before noon, the inevitable gradually came. The sannyas function was performed. Chandrasekhara Acharya, the maternal uncle of Nimai Pandit, was deputed to take charge of the rituals in the ceremony of sannyas. When the mantra was to convert, Nimai Pandit asked Keshava Bharati, "Is this the mantra you will give me? I heard it in a dream." He whispered the mantra in the ear of his guru, who accepted, saying, "Yes, this is the mantra I shall give you." Then that mantra was given. And the name of this sannyasi was not given in an ordinary way either. A most peculiar name came through Keshava Bharati. Krishna Chaitanya. None of the 10 names generally given to sannyasis was given to Nimai Pandit, but the name that was given to him was Krishna Chaitanya. As soon as they heard that name, the mob began to cry, "Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai! All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya." The father of Srinivasacharya was a class friend of Nimai Pandit. On his way to his father-in-law's house, he heard that Nimai Pandit had come to take sannyas. He ran there, and seeing everything, he became dumb. He was devastated and went half mad. After that, nothing came from his mouth but Chaitanya. After he heard the name Krishna Chaitanya, whatever anyone said to him, he would only say Chaitanya. He became mad. After that, his name became Chaitanya Das. His former name vanished, and everyone used to call him Chaitanya Das. He could not stand the scene of Nimai Pandit's sannyas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, newly dressed in red robes, embraced his guru, and both of them began to dance, chanting the name of Krishna. After some time, the meaning of the name was given. Keshava Bharati Maharaj said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya means that you arouse Krishna consciousness throughout the entire world. You have descended to make all people Krishna conscious. So the most suitable name for you cannot be but Krishna Chaitanya. So we stop here for today, and then tomorrow we have the last part of the sannyas ceremony. Jai. The golden volcano of divine love, Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sannyas-lila, Ki Jai. Jai. Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Rakṣak, Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, Ki Jai. Srila Kumar says, Krishna is everywhere, and Krishna consciousness is commanding the whole. Means like, commanding means like the position of authority. Krishna is everywhere, and Krishna consciousness, our consciousness, what means Chaitanya, is commanding the whole. There's no other authority that has that position. Wonderful. Then we're reading from Loving Search for the Lost Servant by Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Rakṣak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj. I'll read that little bit from yesterday. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas know only Radharani. They are concerned only with her and her duties, her necessities. They are ready to serve her in all respects and cannot contemplate any service without her. That is the highest achievement of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. That is the special feature of Mahaprabhu's party, and that was announced by Raghunath Das Goswami. And why is that? Why is it that Krishna is not the highest, that we are not saying we are Krishna Das or Krishna Dasi? We are saying the highest position for the devotees in Gaudiya Vaishnavism is Radha Dasyan. Why is that?
She's the best servitor.
Yes. And we want service, right? We cannot say, oh, Krishna, I love you so much, and then what?
She's
then
distributing the service.
Yeah. We have to do the service. So she is the highest. She is topmost. And Krishna wants us that we see her as the most high, the most. Because via her, it's a telescopic system in Krishna consciousness. The guru, the guru, the guru, like in a telescope. Via, it's a medium. Via other servitors, we come to serve there in that higher plane. We cannot take the first position of, I want to be an Lalita or Vishaka or Yasoda. We cannot. That is already taken. We are in the more, like in the third position or fourth position. It doesn't matter because it's one drop of that substance is containing everything. So we take a very humble position of we are Das, Anudas. Then we have this chapter, I think it's the last chapter.
Even the great gurus are aspiring to be a very small particle in that plane of service. That's
Yeah.
the thing about us.
Exactly. But it contains everything. What is one drop of nectar is containing everything. So we don't have to think, oh, that is much farther away from real happiness or real substance. It's not. it's all completely fulfillment.
Let's say someone who is someone who is, I don't remember well. Does it come up? Yes. Aquel que dice ser, so someone who said he is my devotee is not my devotee.
Yeah, exactly.
But he is the devotee from the devotee from the Lord. He is my devotee. Something like that.
No, that is exactly right. That is what because humility is our most important qualification. With humility is invincible, Gunnar says. If we how do you say, aspire, because we still have ego. If we aspire for humility, more humility, then we can deal with everything. Because also, where there is humility, there is no, where there is enjoyment, there's no, humility goes. So there is like a position of detachment and of Sharanagati, which are the most important practices of us, for us. Then we can deal with everything. Yeah, that's very nice.
We were reading that particular point about humility before in previous section, but maybe we can share that later.
Okay.
About a particular point of humility in relation with entering into that plane, higher plane of consciousness. Without humility, not possible.
Not possible.
Right? You remember
Yes,
that?
that's right.
With big steps of ego or my opinion, no way you can go there. We have to be cleansed of all impurities. Nobody cares about, anyway, in the material world also. My opinion is not so important. I mean, I'm a follower of what I think my seniors or higher people who have more experience and more adhikar, more spiritual wealth. I follow that. And then we can always be dealing with things that come our way. And they will help. They are there to help us. Because it's never static. We always develop more. That is Krishna consciousness. Always developing more insight, the right angle of vision, more. We are dealing with the unlimited divinity. Unlimited, how do you say that in Spanish?
Una divinidad ilimitada.
Yes, divinity.
Divinidad. Transcendental.
So there is,
Yeah.
and that is so exciting to hear all these little angles, little big concept that are touching the heart, that touching the soul, and that is we are dealing with transcendental, unlimited divinity. That are all very big things. Wonderful. It doesn't have the nastiness of the material influence. It is Amnaya Tattva, coming from above. So it's good that we read the last one, the service of Sri Radha.
Is it a long one? Maybe we can leave it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Then
Oh yeah, it's a
you
lot.
try to digest a little bit of what you already read.
Yeah. Yeah, very well.
Small doses, easy to digest.
Then, loving search for the lost servant. Ki Jai Jai. Swami Bhakti Rakṣak. Śrīla Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai. Jai Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madhanamohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Kadadada Sivasari Gura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Jai Sai Kore Sharanamana.
Jai Gaur Pramanti Hari Bol Jai Sa Parikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Hari Yuki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Pravé Kachari Varias Srīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai, jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Pravé Kachari Varias Srīla Bhakti Rakṣak Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai, jai Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Bhaktavinda ki jai, jai Kolkata ki jai, jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sannyas-lila ki jai, jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaura Premanande.